Welcome back, everybody. We are Rough Draft Research. You are the audience, and together we are on a quest for Dynasty Domination. How's it going over there, Daniel?
Pretty good, enjoying some playoff, games. Been some tight ones, some good ones, some close ones, some disappointing ones. How are you
Mm.
doing, Christian?
I mean, at this point, it's just the yearly tradition of the Packers playoff collapse. It's nothing new. It's new that it was the Bears. Um,
Yeah, there's no.
that kind of sucks. That stings a little bit. Um, But yeah, I mean it's that's I just got to get used to it. Losing in the I finally won a fantasy championship, so that's
Oh
new. Usually
no.
I lose in the playoffs and then also the Packers fall apart miserably. So it is what it is, It's better than normal year for me.
Heck yeah, man. Well, I got to order a Gary Anderson Vikings jersey
Oh, that's what we're going
yesterday.
with? Nice.
Yeah, man. Just pulling it. So, things are weird in the North. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. We'll see next year. I think the Rams should beat them, might clap them. So we'll
there you
see.
go. Well, what else was weird this year, man? I know we do a pretty good job of rounding up the end of the season with a little reality versus ADP.
Yeah, we do.
And this year, it's feeling like there was so much weirdness that it's impossible to track.
Yeah, there was a lot of weirdness. So, yeah, what Daniel there is talking about ADP versus reality. That's what we're going to get into today, to kind of put a put a bookend on the 2025 fantasy season. So basically, we're going to go through the first 6 rounds and talk about some guys who disappointed from their ADP and some guys that surprised and ended up into that section of the final tallies or scores of the players. And it's gonna be it was a weird year. I tried to not talk about anybody that was injured for overly long because that's obviously low-hanging fruit. And there was still a lot to talk about. So I don't know. Do you wanna hit us first with you wanna go disappointment or surprise first for round one?
I'm going to go with disappointment,
Okay.
buddy. I'm going to get right into the sadness. And I'm going with, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
ADP number 6. I believe his fantasy finish was 58th in the
Hmm.
ballpark around there. And it was just, I mean, it was kind of sad to watch because the season started off slow when we were like, all right, let's see what happens. JJ McCarthy, is heating up, hits a couple of pop games in the kind of the first quarter of the year, and you're like, all right, okay, we're heating up, and then it just went and imploded, devastating. Really, to finish the year, he wasn't hardly getting targeted through the last like third of the season. So I think clearly this is a disappointment for the ADP. He played the full year. He got honestly his target share was lower, but it wasn't that bad. It was 141 targets. It was just a lack of production. Only
Hmm.
2 touchdowns on the year. It's it's devastating. And so I guess for me, I'd still trust Justin Jefferson. Okay, that's part of this conversation. But I just don't know how I feel about the Vikings in general as far as sustainable fantasy output right now.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to see what they do at the quarterback position if they want to roll with JJ McCarthy this season. I got him at ADP 77.
Okay,
Or it's not ADP, final finish at 77. Is that not what you have?
that's probably right. Yeah, it's probably, yep.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we had the same numbers because my fantasy pros thing loads for the belt and I wanted to make sure it wasn't like changing the scores dramatically or something.
No, yeah, it's a whole thing. We can talk about it later.
Uh-oh.
Don't worry about it, man.
Oh, did I screw it up?
No, you didn't. I just don't have, I'm not a paid subscriber to Fantasy Pros,
Oh,
so I outsource some finishing.
I'm not paid either.
What? Oh
No.
man.
I
I hit
don't
a
pay for
paywall
shit.
earlier.
No,
Look
I,
at
I
you.
had a login wall. I had to make an account, but I didn't pay.
Oh, look at you. It was a free login. I just got scared off by the login.
Well,
But anyway,
anyway,
yeah. You're good.
Okay, sounds good. Well, so yeah, I mean, Justin Jefferson was the guy I clocked in at first, but we kind of have talked about him all year. But I mean, you
Yeah.
hit the nail on the head. I still trust him going forward. It was just an abysmally bad season for the Vikings offense. I mean, Matt Brosmer coming in, JJ McCarthy, 9, looking like crap for most of the year. So I don't know if they upgrade at quarterback or, maybe JJ can take that leap. I did like him coming out of the draft. But there's no reason to shade Justin Jefferson, especially like, I don't know, buy the dip in your redrafts next year. I would say,
For
depending
sure.
on what his ADP ends up being. But I kind of get the feeling the Vikings are going to look for an answer at quarterback. Their team, like overall, is too good to wait on JJ, in my opinion. But so I actually pivoted a little bit because
Okay.
there were a few guys that we kind of hit all year in the ADP for the first round that kind of let us down. But I actually wanted to mention Jamar Chase.
Okay.
He did not fall off the way like Justin Jefferson and he finishes the
Hmm.
overall 22 player, but when you're drafted as the ADP one, that's not great. And it wasn't like he missed all, I think he missed a couple games, but he didn't miss like a ton of games. In fact, yeah, only one game
Yeah.
through 17 weeks. And I know Joe Burrow went down, but we've seen Jamar Chase be the guy even without um Joe Burrow. And so it's just a little more inconsistent from him. And I just wanted to comment on him. He was 15th in points per game for what it's worth. So a bit of a jump there. And obviously I trust him going forward. I would take him in the first round next year. But it was just you go as the ADP number one guy. And I know your quarterback went down, but again, we've seen him be a god without Joe Burrow before. So I don't know. I just wanted to throw him out because Justin Jefferson's obviously the easy target, but we kind of hit him all year.
Yeah, I just hit him again, had to. Felt good doing it too. So no,
That's
no.
fair.
It was just the glaring one for a guy that played the whole season and just the letdown that it was for fantasy managers. They've drafted him, myself included, in redraft, but
Yeah, for
that's all
real.
right. You know, you live by the JJ and you die by the JJ. So got to do what you got to do.
That's
But
fair.
surprising, big time surprise. I went with Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, me
So,
too.
okay, cool. Maybe low hanging fruit, but
It's kind of
he had
hard in the
me
first round to not hit the low hanging fruit.
right. But I mean, seriously, he's had some up and down years, and he got a little bit of shade at running back 9 for his positional ADP.
Hmm.
So for him to come back in here and just clean house, be a top 5 guy on the year, and be the RB3. I think it's pretty awesome. I think that it's somewhat sustainable going forward. I'd say that this team in general kind of tapered off to end the year
Hmm.
after Danny Dimes got hurt, but I think that they will recover in a way that will put Jonathan Taylor right in a position to keep on crushing it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
You talking about him too, huh?
Yeah, I brought him up as well. Obviously, overall fourth player finish, ADP of 21, so it's a pretty big jump, especially getting into the top five. And he was sixth in points per game, so
Oh
um,
wow.
it wasn't even like, oh, just crazy boom weeks. Like he was consistent throughout the year. I don't know that I agree necessarily. I feel like he might drop off a bit next year. I don't think he'll drop off like more than out of the first round or whatever. Um, but I loved getting JT where he was this year, and he's a guy that like I might shade a little in the first round of ADP or of redrafts next year. If you look at when Jones went down, he was the 49th overall player and 62nd in points per game from after week 14 to 17. I know that's a small sample size, but yeah, the Colts fell apart and he didn't help them get over that hump. And I know it's not his fault. I'm not blaming him. Like once it became a factor where you got old man Rivers coming in and trying to run this offense, it's easy just to lock in on JT. and dare Rivers to beat you. But he is turning 27 years old next year. And what are the Colts gonna be next year? I don't know. Daniel Jones ruptures his Achilles. If are they bringing him back? Is he gonna be healthy when he comes back? Are they gonna go back to Anthony Richardson? Are they gonna go to Riley Leonard? Are they gonna bring in Tom Brady to continue the trend of old man
Whoa.
quarterbacks? Like, what are they gonna? So I'm just a little skeptical, especially early on in the year. Next year, I mean, obviously they could have a hell of an offseason and prove me wrong, but who knows? But I'm just a little worried about JT. But again, not in terms of like him dropping off a cliff or anything, just not finishing like top 5 or top 12 overall.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you're right. He's probably not gonna have 4 games where he scores 3 touchdowns next year and they're rolling. But yeah, I was kind of out on him, and it was nice to see a resurgence for a player that I think we're all on board with the success. But
For real. Yeah, no, he's great. But just for instance, like in the two dynasty leagues I have him in, I'm looking to trade him. Now I'm looking to trade him high
sure.
and expensively, so it may not get done. I'm not going to let him go for probably less than two firsts, which I don't know if anybody would pay that at this point. But I kind of see that being the ceiling, especially in Roasted where I won. Woohoo! Just
Are
gotta.
you turning this podcast into an ad? Feels like you're trying to sell something right now. So I better
Always,
move on to the
always
second
be
round.
selling.
Always be selling. I'm always buying.
All
So this works out. This is why we get along here. But
right,
um
round two.
round two, man, I'm just a low-hanging fruit farmer on this one. Because for round two, I'm going with Brian Thomas Jr.
Yep.
So he was the 15th on the ADP, and his finish was abysmal.
Hmm.
Let me get it going here. Yes, positional finish was the wide receiver 42. So if you're not finishing at the position at a higher number than you were drafted overall, that's pretty bad. Horrible, really. I do know he was injured. He missed some time, but he went from being the wide receiver 4 last year to not even really producing more than 1 game over 20 points and only having 2 scores on a team that has been pretty explosive and dynamic. He's letting he's witnessing players such as, Parker Washington just kind of take his
Hmm.
lunch and eat it in his face. So I think that Jacksonville was kind of a mystery. I think that we all expected some regression, and we didn't know how the Travis Hunter impact was going to unfold. But this is a player that I think people were hurting on if they went after him, and so yeah, there's a little bit of disappointment on the reality of this situation.
Yeah, he's a guy that definitely could have derailed your redraft season, taking him in the second round for how bad he did. And the damning part about it to me is kind of what you mentioned. That offense was good and
Yeah.
people were scoring points. So what happened? It just completely fell off a cliff. It'll be interesting to see what happens next year. And there's like rumors that they want to move on from him, which to me
Whoa.
would be the biggest red flag in the world for a player to have that good of a rookie season and then get traded before you're even up for your contract. Like after your second year, that means the team doesn't want to stick with you. Who knows if that'll actually happen? I could just be talking nonsense, but I have heard that. And that would be insane to me. And honestly, if that happened, I would shy away from him even harder. I had him kind of locked in here as the second round, but again, I tried to pivot because like, we
Mhm.
mentioned him a few times as well. So I actually went with Josh Jacobs.
Okay.
His ADP was 15 overall, and he finished as the overall 33rd player and 42nd in points per game. And it was just not a great season. He just was not as effective as he was last year. He was scoring touchdowns a lot early, and then obviously the Packers did fall off a cliff offensively over the last 4 or 5 weeks. But he just didn't look the same to me. Like there were moments that you could see his brilliance, just in his running style and his intelligence of the position. But it just, I don't know, something looked off, and it didn't look as effective. And that might have been the Green Bay offensive line, obviously losing Elton Jenkins and Zach Tom for large sections of the year. That's huge, and would have helped Jacobs out. But he does turn 28 years old next season. And I know the Packers don't have a lot of draft picks, but I would be honestly shocked if they didn't take a running back in the third or fourth round. The Marshawn Lloyd experiment kind of blew up in their face. And obviously, like I said, Jacobs turning 28. We talk about it every year. That's when these guys tend to fall off is 27. So he made it past that. But I just think now would be the time to get out of Jacobs. Honestly, earlier in the season would have been the time, in my opinion, at least in terms of dynasty. And yeah, I just think we might see a more split backfield in Green Bay next year.
I think it's going to take a split backfield to knock Jacobs off, man. I think he's studly, and there's a lot to like about the guy, even though he's getting up there in the age. But
Yeah.
man, I like it. I like it. You're right. There was a promise of insanity that was definitely a little bit disappointed on. But
Yeah.
here's a surprise to most people, probably to me as well. Um, but Chris Olave
Oh
finishes the
yeah.
24th overall player.
Hmm.
Yeah, after being drafted at ADP 78.
Thank
Um,
you all who did not take my trades for Chris Olave. Appreciate
yeah,
you.
I'm on the list. I'm on the list. Yeah, what did I say? I don't even know what I was. I've got too many shares of them, you know. I don't want to increase my exposure too much. I'm like, I think I only got like 3 shares of him, but he's incredible, man. I mean, I it was it's gonna all kind of make sense as we go through it, but this offense was left for dead,
Hmm.
and nobody knew really what the quarterback situation was gonna end up being. But then, I mean, throughout the season, it was kind of a slow start, but once he hit his stride and the Tyler Shuck experiment got up and running, you know, he's a guy that's got 5 top 10 finishes
Mm.
uh, throughout the year as far as like weekly um, wide receiver stats. You know, those are all over 20 points, and it's really clutch coming down the stretch. You know,
Yeah.
for him to hit through your fantasy playoffs and hit 9-2-2 to finish the year. So he's a guy that you could really rely on consistently throughout the year, which I think this year, especially, there were some big peaks and some drops. So to have a guy like this that was a value that people were out on because of the team makeup and him missing, you know, half the season last year and kind of all of us waiting for him to pop, knowing he had more to give, for him to go out there and drop 9 touchdowns and kind of just blow us all away on this Saints offense that was not really, slated to be very productive. I'm into it. Obviously, a big fan.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I mean, you mentioned the fantasy playoffs. You look at his weeks 15 to 17 here, 20 and a half, 36.8, and 25.9 were his three weekly scores there in PPR. So yeah, the Shuck thing, he really took off after Shuck took over, and he really, really likes Tyler Shuck. And so that'll be interesting to see going forward. I mean, New Orleans was too good to really take a new quarterback. So I think Shuck is going to get a bulk of the year next year, if not the whole year, if he continues to play the way he did. And him and Chris Olave clearly have a rapport. That was awesome to see Olave be used and kind of be the guy we expected him to be. I'm glad I actually increased my share instead of decreased,
Look at you.
and it helped me out. Didn't it helped me win one championship, not another. But um, yeah, that's a great one. He's really good. I'm just gonna really quickly mention George Pickens, a guy that we have talked about.
Yep.
He's definitely low hanging fruit. Overall finish of 21st, ADP of 63. He was 24th in points per game. This is easy to me. If Pickens stays a Cowboy, there's no telling how high he can go with that offense and Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb being on the other side. I am more concerned if he leaves Dallas, though.
Yeah, and that for me, I mean, with the 1 year contract and some of these things that Dallas is doing, crazy people. But I think that the likelihood is that, yeah, someone's going to see what he did and say, hey, we need a guy like that as our
Hmm.
number one. And there's a lot of teams out there that are watching. I don't know, themselves kind of miss out on some of these younger guys, the next generation of wide receivers coming out, and he's still young enough to qualify. So, yeah, I think it's going to be hard for Dallas to keep a hold of him. So they're going to have to see what
Paid
they can
up.
do. But I don't know. You like him in Dallas. I think I like him in Dallas quite a bit too. So
Yeah.
going outside of Dallas does run a risk to not sustain what we've seen this year for
Yeah, I
sure.
mean, obviously, if he were to go somewhere like the Bills, I would be all in
Oh,
still.
sure.
But I don't know, maybe I'm
That'd be
speaking out
nuts.
my ass, but he seems like a guy that would go after the money,
Yeah.
which is fair. Go get your money, but it could end him up in Miami or something,
Oof.
which I would hate a lot. Anyway, round three.
Round three. Okay, I'm doing it. I'm gonna do it. You're gonna do it. We're all gonna do it. We're gonna say it together. I'm going with Lad McConkey.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I really tried not to. I really wanted to do something else here, but I couldn't figure it out. My other option was Alvin Kamara, and that just felt rude. But
Yeah.
anyway, Lad McConkey was going off at the 26th spot and ended up at the 80 spot. And I think that you're going to talk about him as well.
Yeah.
Okay, he had some pops, but I think that we all just kind of got blindsided by the Quentin Johnston thing, and then like
The Keenan
the
Allen thing.
the Keenan Allen thing, and just all the things, the Aronde Gadsden things. So
Hmm.
um, it's kind of yeah, unfortunate. The volume was there, the success just wasn't the same this year. So I don't know. You go ahead, go ahead.
I mean, yeah, I was famous for saying that he would outscore Cortland Sutton
I do
this
remember
year.
that.
And well, Cortland Sutton only finishes 43rd overall. So it's not like he had a crazy good year either. But McConkey obviously disappointed me specifically on a tremendous level. Uh,
Personally,
ADP 26, overall finish of 80. He was actually 117th in points per game. So that's even more striking. I do still trust
ouch.
Lad going forward. I mean, Keenan Allen was on a 1 year deal. He's 33 years old. I don't know that he'll be back. And then I just think if the Chargers get Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater back, I think it's going to make that offense just work a lot better. Justin Herbert was really, really successful at like overcoming that line until the end. But I think the receivers suffered from it. And then I think next year you go in and it's Ladd, it's Trey Harris, it's Quentin Johnson still. I think Ladd can still be a guy. I think maybe he's a top 20 guy or 20 to maybe 24, top 24 guy. Um, Maybe not as good as he was his rookie year, but I still believe in him going forward. But yeah, it was a major disappointment. But it seemed like a major disappointment for all the year two wide receivers,
Oh yeah.
you know.
That's
So
that's really the truth of it. Yeah.
so I don't know what the hell that was about, but but yeah.
Yeah, Neighbors was leading the fight on that too, you know.
Yeah.
It's
I mean
always a
that's
leader, that guy.
that's a little rough with him tearing,
Yeah,
but Brian Thomas
heartbreaking.
Jr., Lad
Mhm.
McConkey, like it was bad.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. But there was some good news, right? And I don't know,
Yeah.
it feels like a strange retread of the George Pickens conversation, but I've got the surprise as Javonte
Yep,
Williams.
me too. Yep.
Okay, yeah. All right. Well, it's hard not to be shocked by this. He's going off at finishing at the 30th spot.
Hmm.
Let's see. What was that ADP?
98.
98. So yeah, that's an incredible rising finish, like starting the year the way they did with two touchdowns against Philly. It was just like, what's up? I'm here. And then he sustained it throughout. Clearly, he's on IR now, kind of tapered off. But I thought I was shocked. And down the stretch in week 15 and 17, he had below 50% snap share, but he was still scoring and still a top 20 running back. So just kind of showed that he had some potency to his game. Would have liked to see a little bit more. in the receiving game. I think that he still could add that element if Pickens, he finds himself in a new home or retained by the Cowboys on that 1 year deal. It's just kind of silly, man, because he has that in his game and it was underutilized. And I wonder how it would look if he got that opportunity as a receiver as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a guy that in 2024 led all running backs in catches, I am pretty sure. Um,
That sounds about right.
and then to just not use him that way. I mean, I know that's not really what Dallas does. They like to spread the ball really, really deep and kind of take shots with all that receiving talent they have. But it was cool. It was cool to see Williams come back and be a guy, like you said, overall finish of 30, 48th in points per game. I'm sorry though, I don't see it for next year. If you look at
Uh,
weeks 5 to 17, so a pretty big portion of the season, he was 66th in points per game, which isn't terrible, but it's not like amazing. And then again, like he's in Dallas. Everyone's scared of Prescott and Lamb and Pickens now. I don't think he was facing the hardest boxes in the league. Um, if he goes somewhere new, we'll see. And like you said, if he goes somewhere that actually utilizes his receiving ability, that could end up being really good. But I don't know. I just don't. I feel like he'll be kind of in the 60s is where I expect him to be next year.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll give you that. He's a guy you're not taking in the top 5 rounds, and that's probably a good call depending on the situation. Maybe
Hmm.
maybe he can keep the star and do it all over again, but I
Yeah,
wouldn't
who
bet
knows?
on it.
No, I don't know.
But
We'll see what Dallas does. Who knows though?
who knows? You never know. All right. I'm gonna go with the player in the fourth round let down that didn't have a full season again. And I'm gonna go with Marvin Harrison Jr. He missed quite a bit of time,
Hmm.
and I was excited to see what he was going to end up doing. He had some great games there after Kyler went down, and it was like maybe it was Kyler the whole time. But honestly, just the pop and drop of it all. He had several games outside of like the top 50 as a wide receiver, kind of single digits. I didn't really see enough to make me feel like we're getting there, we're not heading the right direction. I know like Drake London had kind of a slower start and we were all patient and it kind of paid off. And
Hmm.
I'm just looking for some markers that make me feel the same way about Marvin Harrison Jr., make me feel like maybe I could get him on the cheap,
Mm.
but I don't think that I'm that interested in him. And I thought it was a pretty big disappointment as a whole. But I don't know. It feels like people kind of it's almost like the Kyle Pitts situation where they're too scared to give up on him. But honestly, it's probably the best thing you could do at this point is just to let it be, man. Just to let him go because he had a finish of 145th and he only played 12 games. But to have him as a round four guy, like that's kind of where you're hoping to make a stand and kind of like set your team up, find a guy that's going to outperform and he really let it down pretty hard after the ADP of 44. Even without the injuries, I don't think he was coming close to that personally.
No, I mean you can look at it in his points per game. 135 is where he ranked in points per game. So it's not like,
Okay.
yeah, sure, he was hurt. I kind of earmarked him as well and ended up pivoting to somebody that was sadly more close to my heart for the disappointment for round four. But yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr., I mean, you nailed it. We haven't seen much to think he's going to be uh, the guy going forward. And then obviously Arizona's a big question mark. So I'm with you. Pretty disappointing second year. Oh, there's another one. Throw him out for the second year disappointments.
Oh
Um,
no. That's I thought of him, but I didn't want to spoil my own.
that's fair. I went with Chuba Hubbard. He had a really good 2024 um, overall finish of 161. He did miss some time, but he was the ADP of 45. So yeah, like you said, taking a guy in the fourth round, you expect him to be kind of a linchpin to your team and helping you kind of overcome the superstars of the first couple rounds that everybody gets. And he was 180 in points per game with under 9 points per game, which is just not
Which,
great. I mean, Rico Dowdle came in and took his job for a bit. The only solace that you can maybe find for Chuba is that it doesn't seem like Rico Dowdle's coming back. He's pretty much bashed the Panthers ever since they lost to the Rams in the playoffs. Blamed the offensive line for uh, his fall off towards the end of the year. He had nine
wow.
after a hot start. He had 9 games in a row where he had less than 60 yards, and it was kind of funny. It was a tweet response to somebody saying that he fell off and that they didn't want him back on the Panthers next year. And he put up a one of those graphs that the x-axis or the x-axis and the y-axis are two different stats, and it showed yards after contact per attempt and yards before contact per attempt. And to be fair, whoa, why did we just flip? That was weird. Um, did you raise your hand? Did I raise my hand? Oh my
I didn't.
goodness. It freaking AI. I raised my hand on the camera and it counted it as raising, you know how you can raise your hand in Zoom?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just
Hmm.
counted it as that and it flipped us on the screen. That was super weird. Sorry, everyone.
Yikes.
Um, it was
That's
yards
great,
before
man.
contact per attempt. And yeah, the line did fall off and was down, but it also showed that yards after contact per attempt was he was the second worst, Rico Dowdle, on the entire
Hmm.
graph. So it's like okay, sure, it showed that the line wasn't great, but it also showed that you didn't do much after contact either. Anyway, we're not talking about Rico Dowdle. I'm just saying he might be gone. We might see Jonathan Brooks, though, maybe, possibly, next year. And
Oh
maybe
yeah.
they'll bring somebody in. So Chuba is not safe in terms of starting, but he did look okay here and there. Just the fantasy production was not great after a guy that really took off last year. I mean, what he finished in the top 15 for running backs or whatever. Last year he was 14th, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was just a huge drop off, and it was sad to see because I've always liked Chuba.
Yes, I agree. And we've always liked Rico Dowdle as well. So that's, I guess, that's insane, man. I did not, I wasn't ready for that. The hard facts of Rico's Twitter feed or whatever, man. I don't know. People don't use Twitter anymore, right? I'm gonna sound like
That's
an old
fair.
person after having
Yeah.
said that.
The
Shoot.
the football world still uses Twitter. Um,
Oh,
but
good. Good. Well, then that's good. That's good for them.
all right, surprise
Um,
round four.
Surprise round four, like round four was really tough for me to find a surprise in. I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna go with Jackson Dart.
Okay.
Obviously, yeah, he had a nice year. He finishes as the player 134, even though he missed quite a bit of time. But I think that obviously he was a surprise when it comes to his rookie year and kind of I wasn't sure. Like I thought Russell Wilson was going to get in there and just kind of take over for a little bit. I was a big Russ guy for the whole thing. So
Yeah,
for
you
him to
were. I
not
remember
even,
that.
dude, I know. Let's like we don't have to talk about it, right? Like personally, we don't have to talk about it. But for him to finish as the quarterback 14 after not even starting a game until week 4 and then missing sections of the middle of the season. I think I mean that's like it's an extreme surprise to me, and I think it's going places, especially you consider didn't have neighbors for most of the season, lost his running back in there as well. It just kind of makes it feel like a very big surprise that is extremely sustainable. And I feel like they got lucky with the Giants, and now they're going to get a new coach too, so they can kind of redefine his career and even more maximize or utilize what he has to offer. So I thought it was pretty extreme. What is his ADP was 244? Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Something
Yeah.
crazy like
So
that. Yeah.
That's pretty nuts. I'll definitely take that as a win for him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, he had a really good rookie year in terms of coming on late and being able to produce. The rushing ability was something that really, really helped his game, and I don't see why that would go away. Although, please stop braining yourself on people, though,
Hmm.
man. Like,
No,
it's
that's part
just
of it, man.
all
Part
right.
of the
Well,
lore.
then he's not going to end up much. He's going to end up on the injury report a lot more often. But no, I like your pick there. So yeah, I actually went with Wandale Robinson,
Hmm.
Jackson Dart's teammate. He finishes as the overall 44th player, which was really fun to see. And he was drafted ADP of 175. But he was 69th in points per game, so there was a very noticeable cap on his production. I mean, it was basically PPR only, but it was fun to see. I don't trust him going forward though, because obviously I think Malik Neighbors comes back and takes most of what he has, and I think Malik Neighbors and Jackson Dart could really put on a show next year.
Yeah, no, that should be pretty good. I don't even want to think about it, man. I mean, go Giants or whatever, but whatever, man. I'm over it. So,
All right. Well,
uh,
round five.
round five. All right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pick up this pace here for myself. I'm going with Xavier Worthy.
Okay.
Um, it just feels like to me, um, it was a big disappointment as a Chiefs
Yeah.
fan, right? We got the high draft capital and everything, and he missed a couple games to start the year because of the collision, shoulder injury and all that. But then he really never comes back in any meaningful way. He's only got one score this year. He wasn't doing a bunch of dynamic, crossing motion type stuff. It felt like what he had shown the potential for, there wasn't a continuation. So his best outing was 17 points in week 14 or week 4. And I really don't think, I don't know, man. I get worried about the future. This Chiefs team kind of had a big time breakdown. But when I think of what is going to happen going forward, I get a little frightened when a guy, second year player drops off like this and gets his finish at 190
Yeah.
after having that draft capital in the top 50. So it kind of throws me off, man. I'm a little disappointed by him. Oh, right at 53. Sorry. So ADP 53, finished at 190. Only scored once. Like what? I don't know. A little bit disappointing in general.
Yeah, I mean the Chiefs in general were also just incredibly disappointing. So hopefully they can fix that and get it going. But yeah, I mean Worthy was so disappointing that I forgot he existed doing this exercise, to be honest.
Ouch, dude, that hurts.
So yeah, that was a huge drop off. Hey, well look at that. Second year wide receivers.
I know, right?
Goodness
It's
gracious.
like you
This
know what you're talking about.
the worst second year wide receiver class maybe ever.
Why are we
Um,
doing this?
I went with DK Metcalf.
Okay,
Um,
yep.
ADP of 50. He finished overall of 70, but 87th in points per game. He only had 3 games where he scored more than 15 points. And he just seems like he's on a downward trajectory. Obviously, maybe they get a new offensive mind there in Pittsburgh with Tomlin stepping down. Hopefully, Arthur Smith goes bye-bye for, I don't know, ever. That would be nice to me, but it seems like
He's getting the
he's
head coaching job.
of course he is. Yeah, he's going to get all kinds of head coaching jobs because he's done a lot in the league and has been really impressive, right? Anyway,
Yeah.
DK Metcalf though, he's already on the other side of third. No, he's not. He's 28. That always surprised me. He feels like he's been in the league forever, but he is
He
going to
looks
turn
old.
29 next year. So that's not like great. It is a little younger than I thought, to be fair. So maybe he does still have some stuff in the tank.
Uh,
But I just think he just didn't look the same this year. I mean, you saw a massive drop in the playoff game. I mean, I know they weren't really in that game by the end of it, but still, like I don't know, just it just doesn't look good.
yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I don't know. If he doesn't feel like the guy that's a difference maker and they needed him to be a leader on that team, didn't really
Yeah.
work out.
for sure.
I- Instead, surprise, surprise, Kenneth Gainwell
Hell
had
yeah.
73 catches and 85 targets for this Steelers team. And I just can't really believe that this is all true facts. But yeah, Kenneth Gainwell finished as the player number 56 overall throughout the entire NFL. And if you're wondering where he got drafted, it was at the 325th position. So running back 89. And it's pretty clear. I mean, it's pretty clear that it was mostly like PPR inflation when you
Yeah.
have 70 some points just for catching the ball. Then the rest of it, doesn't have to add up to be monumental. And honestly, he barely skirted over 1,000 yards and only had 8 scores, but those are good numbers for a guy that was just kind of floated over to them from the Eagles, and now we'll see what ends up happening with his career. Might have been an Aaron Rodgers effect, so could not be sustainable, but definitely going to increase his usage over the past several years, I'd assume.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Kenneth Gainwell may not be sustainable. Um, but it was a fun season. I mean, the touchdown he had in the second week of the playoffs was absolutely insane. So it was fun. I know Pittsburgh liked him a lot more than just Aaron Rodgers. So maybe they'll keep him around and keep using him, but who knows? What it's hard to talk about Pittsburgh right now with Tomlin being gone.
Yeah,
Uh,
a lot's changed.
I'm gonna talk about the 57th overall player and Michael Wilson.
Okay,
ADP of 237. He was
of course.
87th in points per game. Um, I don't know if he'll play as well as he did down the stretch this year going forward, but it does seem like he's kind of forced his way into being a factor going forward for the Cardinals. Um,
Mhm.
but before week 11, he did not have a game above 10 points and then finished as the 10th overall player in points per game from weeks 11 to 17. So just an unreal finish to the season. And who knows what the Cardinals are going to look like? Jacoby Brissett, is he going to be there? Is he going to be the starter? Is Kyler Murray going to be there? Who knows? But Michael Wilson has kind of locked himself in as like at least a wide receiver too, for the Cardinals and maybe like a flex play going forward.
Yeah, no, and we like that. We like that after what we've seen around here. We like that. So I don't know. That's pretty cool. We've been a fan of his since the Senior Bowl days, and to see him out there doing it, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
So we'll see what
No, it's
happens
super
with
cool.
that. This is another team like huge flux going on. New quarterback, new head coach. We'll see what happens. But
Yeah,
yeah,
for
he's
real.
definitely going to get utilized. Um, all right, I've got a quick time, and I'm just going to toss names for round six. I'm sorry, Christian.
No, you're good. I know you got to go.
I
Let's
took
do
too
it.
long. I'm let down by Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and again, this is a Minnesota thing, but he was drafted at 67 and ended up at 170th.
Oof.
And honestly, yeah, he didn't really miss a ton of time. He didn't play a full season, but it just was disappointing.
Yeah.
So
Super disappointing. Excuse me. Obviously, I'm a big Aaron Jones boy over here. I don't know what's going to happen with him going forward. He's getting way too old to be a running back in the NFL, but hopefully he's got one more year of juice somewhere. My disappointment, Jerry Judy, finished 175th overall, ADP of 68. He's just cooked. He was 231 in points per game. So
ouch, dude.
his terrible overall finish got inflated by the fact that everybody in front of him got hurt.
Yeah, no, I think they still got potential, man. I'm just gonna just
Yeah.
say it, but
Okay.
segue though, segue. A surprise, Harold Fanning.
Yeah, I have him.
So, pretty pumped about how it all turned out for him. I feel like I could have picked a bunch of rookie tight ends for this episode in general.
Yeah.
So to see that, um, makes me pretty pumped. But yeah, you've got him as well.
I did. I also threw out Emeka Buka.
Yep.
Obviously fell off, but so did the Bucks towards the end of the year, but finished 64th overall, ADP of 92, and I think he'll be great going forward.
Heck yeah, man. Well, sorry to quick time it here at the end,
No, you're good. We had a lot of weird stuff happen, but yeah,
but
we will be back next week, more than likely talking about some 2026 rookies. But until then, we've been Rough Draft Research. You've been the audience, and we'll see you next time.
yes, take care, everybody. Enjoy the playoffs, I guess.